Hey, this is Alex at You Rock Music Center. It has been quite a long time since I've sat down and done a gear demo for you guys. As you know, one thing I really like to do is I like to showcase products you can find in my store but aren't widely reviewed, things that people may be overlooking. So often those things come from smaller companies. And today, I'm going to be showcasing this Supro Delta King 12. It is a 15 watt tube amp powered by one 6L6 and 12 AX7s in the preamp. This has a 3-band EQ and a master volume and a regular volume and reverb. The thing that really sets this amp apart is that on the top panel it's got a mini toggle for boost and one for drive. The boost is just sounds like about maybe a 15 decibel boost. It's very helpful. Both of these are foot switchable also. They're not really independent channels. These affect the single channel of the amp. This is a one channel amp, but with the drive function, I would essentially say it's functioning as a 2-channel amp. But what the boost is an FET boost that was designed by Pigtronics. If you're not aware, Pigtronics and Supro are now under the same company. So that marriage makes a whole lot of sense to me. This definitely is voiced more as a vintage amp, as you might suspect. This one is the tweed with the black stripes, affectionately known as the Bumblebee amp. The thing I like best about this amp is I wouldn't say it's necessarily the most versatile amp. It is definitely more vintage voiced. However, it really can explore all the wide ranges of vintage sounds. It's got a surprising amount of gain with the drive function. You can control the amount of gain you get from that by sort of feathering the volume knob and the master volume knob. The farther up your volume knob is, the more gain you're going to get out of that boost circuit. And so if you want a lower gain sound, you take the volume down, crank the master up. So this amp also has great reverb. It has a lot of reverb. Of an amp this size, I'm amazed at the amount of reverb it puts out. And it's not an amp where you just crank up the reverb and forget it. I would say past maybe 6 o'clock, the reverb gets to, I wouldn't say an unusable point, but it gets to a point that it's more of a special effect than just sort of a spatial enhancer. But overall, I think for $649, this is probably one of the best value tube amps on the market. It's competing in the same space. It's slightly more expensive than the Fender Blues Jr. It has similar specs. Though I like this amp a whole lot more. It's got a whole lot more gain on tap. The sound of this amp and the sound of the Blues Jr. I'd say is sort of similar. This amp is also warmer and more mid-range focused. It is not in the same tonal range as, say, a Princeton or a Deluxe, which have similar wattages. This one is definitely punchier. It's louder. I used to own a Princeton, which I did love. But this is certainly going to be louder. And it's going to cut through a mix a little better because it's not that blackface mid-scoop sound. This is more the sound of, say, a Champ. Well, no, okay. It's definitely more the sound of like the Fender Tweed stuff, maybe more Bassman if you think like that. But overall, I have to say, I really like the construction on this. It looks like furniture almost. You could park this in your living room, and your wife, girlfriend, husband, significant other, whomstever, shouldn't complain. It's just a very attractive looking amp. It's got a custom-made 12-inch, 75-watt rated speaker in it. And it's got outputs for a line out in the back. It's got inputs for a foot switch. The foot switch does not come with the amp. The foot switch is sold separately. But at least in the manual, it said that pretty much any 2-button foot switch with a TRS cable would work. This also has a power amp in. It does not have a preamp out, so it doesn't have a traditional effects loop, but it does have a power amp in. So if you wanted to run a modeler into this and bypass the preamp, you can do that. And it has a line out for recording or live, which is really nice. Overall, I have to say that this is probably, of the lower wattage amps, what I've played recently that's come out, definitely my favorite. I like this better than the Vox AC15. I like this better than the Vox AC4. I like it better than the Fender Blues Junior. I have to say that I am a huge fan, and I don't usually say this, and when I say this, I mean it. I actually might order one for myself, because it's a great, versatile, great sounding amp. Every position the knobs are in sounds good, and the EQ is highly tweakable to get different sounds out of it. Overall, I would give this a 10 out of 10 for sound. I can't really see any area for improvement there. You have to like the sounds that you get out of this, but the sounds that you get are A+, usable. I'm going to be doing some demos here. I'm going to do my single coil sounds on a G&L S500. This is my personal guitar. And I'm going to be doing my humbucker sounds on this Paul Reed Smith S2 McCarty. This one is in fire red. So we're going to be doing some more vintage sounds. And if you didn't know, a lot of the older guys, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, used Supros before they switched over to Marshalls. So I'm definitely going to be doing a fair amount of Jimi Hendrix to show you guys the good Hendrix type sounds you can get out of this amp. So stay tuned for some sound clips. Like, subscribe, share. Give me your firstborn child. What else did I forget? Send me money. My Reverb page is in the description, as is www.urockmusiccenter.com, where you can find everything you see here except for this for sale. And enjoy!